Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today I'm going to be doing a ranking video for you guys. So what I'm going to be ranking today is American Horror Stories Season 1. So as the season just ended, I figured I would do a ranking of all of the episodes and kind of give my general thoughts of the season as a whole, and then a couple general thoughts about each episode. So to start off, I want to just give general thoughts of the entire season. When they announced that American Horror Stories was something that was going to be happening, I was very excited because I was like, okay, now we're going to get like a true anthology where every episode is a completely different story. It was giving me real Creepshow vibes from Shudder, and before that, Tales from the Crypt. Stuff like that. So I was very excited, and I was like, I like American Horror Story, so what could go wrong? Unfortunately, a lot could go wrong. Because while I did, for the most part, like the season, I did have a lot of issues with a lot of the episodes. All the issues are pretty similar across the board. One of my biggest issues was that every episode basically felt unoriginal. Like, they were all things that I had either seen before, or they were, I don't know if they were trying to do homages to different things, but I was just like, you know, there's a fine line between doing an homage and just outright copying. And another one of the biggest issues that I had with each episode is they're all like cable TV length. So that means they're all about 43 minutes long, which is like, I don't know why they did that if it's going to be on Hulu. Maybe it was originally going to be on FX, on actual cable, and in that case that would make sense for an hour-long show with commercials, but now that it's on Hulu, it doesn't really make sense. And part of that issue is every episode felt rushed. Like, once we get to the last 10 minutes, sometimes even less than that, everything just felt like it happened really fast, and we didn't really have time to breathe or process what was going on. So those are two of my biggest complaints with the season as a whole. So now let's get into the ranking of all the episodes. So there were 7 episodes this season, and I'm going to be ranking all of them. There was a 2-parter episode, and I have split those up. So I'm not counting that as one episode altogether, so I'll talk about that when it gets to it. So coming in at number 7, we have Drive-In. This was an episode that was directed by Eduardo Sanchez, and the basic premise is that these kids go to the drive-in movie theater to watch a movie called Rabbit Rabbit. This movie was known to have caused like some people to go crazy and a bunch of people to die at the very first screening that it had. Unfortunately, I just didn't like the episode. I thought it was too similar to the Masters of Horror episode's Cigarette Burns with the like theme and stuff, so I was a little disappointed. I thought I was gonna really like this episode, and I ended up being disappointed by it. And at number 6, we have Feral. This was another episode I was really excited about, and then in the end I was kind of disappointed. I think I did like the ending, but I was overall just unimpressed with the episode. So this is basically where this family is going camping and their son goes missing, and there's rumors that a Bigfoot has taken him, and 10 years later somebody comes to the family with a trail cam picture and says, "We think we found your son," and they go out and search for him. My biggest issue with this episode was that it's unoriginal. It was basically like a combination of the reboot of Wrong Turn and the original Wrong Turns. So I was a little disappointed with that. I was expecting like a Bigfoot episode, which I really would have loved, but we did not get that. Number 5, we have Rubber Woman Part 1. So this was the first episode that was released, and we go back to Murder House. We have a new family that is moving in, and it is a couple and their teenage daughter, and the couple is trying to renovate the house to sell. And the teenage daughter ends up finding the rubber suit in one of the closets and puts it on, and the rest is history. And so we basically see a lot of the same issues that we saw with Murder House, where people get murdered and then they can stay in the house. Overall, I thought it was just an okay episode. Coming out at number 4, we have Baal, which was a pretty decent episode. It was unoriginal, but I thought that it potentially had a little bit more going for it than some of the other things that I think it was inspired by. So basically, this couple is going through IVF treatments and they're having a lot of difficulty conceiving a baby. After visiting the doctor's office one day, the secretary is like, I shouldn't do this, but here's a little totem of a fertility god and put it under your bed and you'll be able to have a baby. And so they do, and they have a baby. 16 months later, weird things start happening. The mother, who's played by Billie Lourd, who is a returning American Horror Story actor, sees stuff on the little tablet that has a camera that's watching the baby. She sees like a devil, and so she has to try to protect her baby and also keep her sanity. Coming in at number 3, we have The Naughty List. I thought that this episode, I don't know, there was something about this episode that was fun and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It's basically about these social media stars, and it's a group of 4 guys and they live in like a hype house type of situation where they film content and put it out. They basically film a dead body and they end up getting attacked by a killer Santa Claus who's played by Danny Trejo. I think that they wasted Danny Trejo in this episode, and I think that if you wanted to see a killer Santa Claus, it should have been more of a focus on the killer Santa Claus than it was the group of guys who are social media stars. This gave me a lot of Black Xmas vibes, and it was also obviously and probably inspired by real life YouTuber Logan Paul and stuff like that. So I did enjoy this episode more than the others. And at number 2, we have Rubber Woman Part 2. This episode is basically the culmination of everything that happened in the first Rubber Woman episode. And I think that it just picked up the amount of stuff that was going on, and I really did enjoy that. Like, the first episode was more of like an establishing, and at the end we kind of get what's going on, and then we pick up a couple months later. We get the consequences of all the actions that happened in the first episode. And so I think that it added more to the story and it had a lot more going for it. And then coming in at number 1, which I don't know how people feel about these episodes, because I did not see anybody talking about these at all. Coming in at number 1, we have the series finale, which was Game Over. This was a meta take on the American Horror Story brand. And so there's a woman who is trying to get closer to her son, and she decides that she's going to help build a American Horror Story Murder House video game. This episode is a little bit trippy because you're not 100% sure what's real and what isn't, and that'll make more sense when you watch the episode. I think that this was the most unique of the episodes. I enjoyed the meta commentary. I thought that that was cool, and also, like, why doesn't American Horror Story have a video game? That could be a really fun thing, and you could have all kinds of games based on the American Horror Story franchises and new franchises. So that is it for this ranking. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below if you watched American Horror Stories on Hulu and how you would rank the episodes. What were your favorite and what were your least favorite? And maybe give me a little reason why. And remember, if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day. Bye.